in this piece, right, by Windhurst and Ramona, they talk about it. It says, James understood the Lakers taking advantage of an opportunity to pivot to the younger superstar. But from James's perspective, sources said, nuance was sometimes lost during the transition. Doncic had never asked to be a Laker. James, for his part, had chosen LA, coming in 2018 when the team had missed the playoffs 5 consecutive seasons, the worst run for the franchise since it moved from Minneapolis. 2 years later, James had helped deliver a 17th championship. And then there's some other stuff in here. Some other they called it. It says since the Doncic trade February 1st, the Lakers have signaled this shift from James to Doncic through a series of microaggressions. They did not give him significant notice that they were trading Davis for Doncic. Talking about Anthony Davis, of course. A transgression James forgave, sources said, because of his respect for Doncic and understanding of the franchise's reasoning for making the trade and for keeping it under wraps for as long as possible. Within days of acquiring Doncic, Pelinka attempted to pair him with uh, Mark Williams, an athletic young center. Davis and James had for years been asking the franchise to require a true center, to no avail. When the Buss family agreed to sell a majority stake in the franchise to Mark Walter on June 18, Doncic was given a heads up and notably posted congratulations on social media afterward. James was not given the same notice and did not post any public acknowledgement afterward. Then, of course, the coup de grace, the Lakers, by not offering James an extension, indicated they were comfortable having him on the roster as an expiring contract, a rare position for a superstar player of his caliber. Now, the see, and I understand. Part of me understands where LeBron is coming from because what it feels like is, uh, this is kind of it feels like when Shaq, right, when the Lakers made it clear in the summer of 2004 that it was going to be Kobe's team moving forward. That was their priority. First. I remember. I always remember the day um, when all this was happening in 2004, and there was a headline in the LA Times that said, uh, "Bryant opts out, Jackson is out, O'Neal wants out." Right? Because they had already let Phil go. Shaq saw that, and Shaq said that he said that that run that they had been built by on all three guys, right? And now they were moving and putting all the eggs in one basket to make it seem like it was just about one person. So once they let Phil go, then Shaq requested the trade, right? And in a certain sense, I think that's kind of like how LeBron feels. LeBron feels like, well, I've been here and I'm LeBron, and I did kind of save the Lakers from, Lakers have been mediocre in the 5 years since, even the last few Kobe years, right? 14, 15, and 16, those teams were terrible. And then in 17 and 18, they still weren't, they were slowly getting better under Luke, but they won 35 games in the year before LeBron got here. And then LeBron comes here 2 years later, they won a title, right? And he's LeBron James. And he came here and he wanted to come here and all those things, right? So I understand why LeBron would feel like, okay, you guys could show me a little bit of respect here, right? But on the flip side of that, right, on the other side of that, is the fact that, okay, bro, here's the thing. He's not a 30, number one, he's not a 32-year-old Shaquille O'Neal who still had a couple years of championship ball left in him, right? Now, LeBron, at this point in his career, at 40 years old, right, with the way that he's preserved his body and spends $1 million on his body each year, and at his age, still a top, 15 or so player, right, close to the top 10, if not top 10. Um, and he's still someone who I wouldn't say that he's that Shaq that summer at 32. The next year Shaq finished second in MVP voting, and the year after that, 2006, they won the title. But it was D Wade's team, right? I'd say LeBron hit the point in his career of that 2006 Shaq, who was D Wade's sidekick. Right now, the way the game is today, the way that they play with it's just an up and down, game of cardio and shooting. There's no physical contact. There's none of that, right? So yeah, I mean, it makes it easy for somebody like LeBron to be 40 years old. It's a run and jump league and shoot. So it's a lot easier for somebody to play well and play now. He's 40 years old. He's still an All NBA player. But I would say that to win the championship, he would need to accept a lesser role in the way that Shaq did in 2006. He needs to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Um, and so, but I mean, 40 years old, he's going into year 23, right? Uh, and his Lakers tenure has been up and down, right? I know the Lakers appreciate what he's done, but I mean, he always talks about hope. I wish that they would improve the roster, but it's like the team that they had before the Luka trade was a team that when LeBron was in his prime, I mean that's a championship team. But because LeBron is is old LeBron now, although he's still a very good player, that's why that team was a team that would get swept by Denver, right? It's not like they haven't put a team around; they have put a team around them. If you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, that was a team that was good enough to win a title in 2020, right? And then LeBron, he was 35 then, and the injuries started kicking in. He'd already gotten injured in 2019, but they stayed healthy in 2020 and they won it. And then there were some, problems with the roster and some of the moves that Rob made, but part of that was to compensate for the fact that LeBron was getting older. You have to try different stuff. You have to try to stack the team as well as much as you can and make up for the fact that LeBron is getting older. And I think that LeBron needs to be honest about that. And I think that, yeah, what he's done is great, but it's not like he did what Magic did or what um, Kareem, Shaq, Kobe. They haven't had that type of run here since he's been here. But they did get that one championship in the bubble. Um, and he just needs to be realistic, right? He's 40 years old. He's going to, nobody has played 23 seasons in the NBA. He's about to get there. And at a certain point, you have to realize, bro, it's not about you anymore, right? Like when Michael Jordan came back with the Wizards at 38 and played, those 2 seasons, retired at 40. He didn't come in there going, okay, well, I mean, that's one of the things that Jordan doesn't get enough credit for is that when he was, in his prime, Jordan was relatively drama free. I mean, outside of, they say that he got Doug Collins fired, but outside of that, Jordan didn't really go to the front office and ask Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf to do anything. He didn't ask them to, sure didn't ask them to make any type of particular personnel decisions. I think he vetoed when the Bulls wanted to trade Scottie Pippen for T Mac. He vetoed that, maybe one other team. So outside of that, Jordan just showed up, played ball with what he had, and won 6 championships doing that. Those Bulls teams, as I've always said, bro, I like those Bulls teams on paper where their best team was probably, 90, like 90, the 97 team that had Bison Dale was probably the most talented team, right? Now they were great, but especially the first 3P teams, I mean, a lot. If you look at some of those teams, bro, look at the teams that beat in the finals. It's not like the Bulls were like that much more talented, right? But they had Michael Jordan, and they had Scottie Pippen, they had Phil Jackson, right? So, um, Jordan was relatively drama free in that regard. And when he came back at 40 years old, no matter what he said, did he probably think he could still win a championship? Yeah. But once it wasn't obvious, he didn't try to force it. He really came back because, it was for the love of the game. He retired because there was a lockout. But the game was still in his system. So he came back. He played those last 2 years. He could have gone anywhere if he wanted to, try to win another championship or something like that. He was doing it for the love of the game, right? And LeBron has to realize at this point in his career, I mean, come on, man. And I think that this report, it just goes to show that it's not really his displeasure is not really about him trying to make sure he wins on the championship. It's about it because they've transitioned to Luka as the focus, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't like it. He still wants it to be about him. And at some point, you have to accept it's not about you. Like by the time Kareem was 40 years old, Kareem was, you know, he he accepted a tertiary role. You know, he just played his part. He played the background. So LeBron needs to learn from people like Kareem, people like Jordan. When we get to that point in your career, now if he was the same Bron somehow at 40 years old that he was in Cleveland and Miami, that'd be different. But he's not that same Brown, and it doesn't matter what the numbers say. The fact that they've lost in the first round the last 2 years, the fact that they got swept 2 years ago, it is what it is, man. So, and like I said, the fact they drafted his son, that still wasn't enough. He's coming back right back the next year, and it's like, bro, you've had your time, I hate to say it, but bro, you've had your time, man. You've been here for 7 years. You got one championship in the bubble, and that was it. You know, you've had your time, LeBron. Just fade off into the sunset. Don't become that athlete who stays around, sticks around too long, and gets annoying, becomes annoying, and overstays his welcome, and ends up a little bit tarnishing his legacy. Don't do that. Right off into the sunset.